Hi everyone, welcome back to Spiritual Growth Tarot. I'm Denise, and so this is our reading for our week before Christmas, starting from Sunday, December 19th, I think it is, yeah, 19th through Saturday the 25th. So I'm going to wish you a very Merry Christmas, or however you celebrate. I However that is. Some of us do pizza, like Thanksgiving. Some of us go all out and do a million dishes. Or, well, not a million, but many, many, many dishes. So anyway, I hope that it's a wonderful week for you. And let me drop the camera down and we'll see what I can find with the tarot for us personally. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, so I decided to use this oracle deck for the week. It's by Ethany. It's called The Awakened Soul. If you like it, you can get it there on her website. And yeah, it's really cool. It's got these gilded edges and bees. I love the bees. The cards are, pretty good size too. I mean, you can see I have pretty big hands, but they're good size. Okay, move that out of the way. Okay, so for Christmas week, what is it that we need to know? What would best support us on our spiritual path? So December 19th through the 25th. And again, opening up to my spirit team and the laws of love to connect with your spirit team and bring through those messages. Okay. Okay. Oh. Boy, just enough room here. Actually, I think I can scooch them up this way a bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so our theme here is the title on the card is Authenticity. So this is about being our authentic self, which is where we carry our wisdom. In our authentic core, in the core of who we truly are, we are extremely wise. We are connected with all things loving, which is also the truth. And the way to get there has to do with not trying to become something new, that, just always remember that right in the core of who you truly are, you have your brilliance, you have your buried treasure. Our task is to cleanse anything that's out of the way. So I always look at it as, or I see it as our bright spirit that's in our core, that just emanates outward, and it's also within the nucleus of every cell. In astrology, you can relate that to your sun sign. Right? So your sun, your core essence that is just bright, and that's your spirit. But then we have our souls and our soul substance that can sometimes get a little bit clogged up, and or because, well, it's not or, it is because of our wounding in our past and our false beliefs that we have every good reason to have because, we experienced something that was painful and then we we came to a wrong conclusion that there's like something wrong with us or we're bad or we're not good enough or we're, all these tapes in our head, these false beliefs, these maybe even these decisions that we went to in our death. And then we incarnate again, we bring in that little fragment of that false belief again that's steeped in duality, steeped in a vicious circle. And we have to re-experience it in order to become aware of it and get another chance to heal it. And that happens every single lifetime, and that is what is within our soul substance. So that's why I see the spirit and the soul as being two different entities. But that doesn't mean that once our soul, so the deal is like, I feel like once our soul is clear and purified, I feel like it just kind of dissolves into our pure spirit. I don't think it goes away, right? And I also have never believed that we're here to get rid of our ego. That is ridiculous. Our ego is in place to help us navigate through the world, through time and space, through duality. And it's a part of our personality. But we can step back, we can be in our leadership if we step back and surrender to that authentic place that's very wise inside, to our that's our leadership and that's our authentic place. If we can surrender to that, then we can be at peace. And then the ego can just step back and wait. If we direct our ego to wait, every time you stop and take a deep breath, every time you stop and count to 3 or 10 or however long you have to before you act, every time we don't impulsively, and I'm so guilty of this. You guys have heard me do all my political readings and I'm just going off, right? You've seen it. You've heard it. And so in those moments, I am there with my personality and my bias showing up. And I usually have good reason to have those beliefs, right? Because I've been disappointed so many times with our people in politics. So, but to come from our authentic self and to be in our leadership, this almost looks like Oprah, to be in our leadership means to just step back and be in your core. And every time we do that, we're coming from our inner being and our ego steps aside. So that's what a healthy, strong, developed ego does, is it knows to just step aside and just wait and get your cues from that deeper inner place. And this card is Gaia. So that is our leadership on earth. And when we walk the earth coming from our true leadership, that's the requirement, is that we're cleansing our soul substance and we're cleansing our unhealthy ego. Now, an unhealthy ego will either be usually it'll be either kind of overblown or kind of weak. So the overblown ego, the overblown ego will want to control. And the weak ego will want other people to tell us what to do. And it won't want to stand up for itself. So these cards are telling me that we are to stand up in our leadership and we are to cleanse those parts of our souls that is that overlay over the spirit, so that our authentic real self can just shine through. And the being of who we truly are, that's what we're surrendering into. Whenever I see a whale, I think of being. So here we are on Earth, on this equal opportunity planet where we all get our, we all get as many lifetimes as we need in order to work through our dualistic splits. So are, either or consciousness, where we're thinking that we're good or we're bad, or we're right or we're wrong, and, we win or we lose, and all of that, pain and pleasure, life and death. Instead, we just need to accept that dualistic place. And this is a perfect time to do it because Venus is retrograde, backing into its conjunction with Pluto even tighter. So Pluto is about the soul and transforming our soul. It's in Capricorn, so that has to do with being our authentic self. And it has to do with being in our leadership, even though there's a Leo sign here. But Capricorn is very much about being in big participation with the world. And most of all, I've seen this transit of Pluto in Capricorn as being an opportunity to be in our integrity. So without getting all hard on yourself about, like, oh my goodness, have I done it? What's just being your authentic real self, and then you're in your integrity. And when you're in your authentic real self, you will also be self-responsible with, all the affairs of your life. So that's the path on Earth that we're dealing with. And then to look further, look at this. This is a card about boundaries, right? So once you're in your authentic real self, you will also have those healthy boundaries. And then to speak your truth if you need to. Look at these gorgeous cards. Look at that. And the color, it's beautiful. So to be in that flow and speak your own truth, which doesn't have to put anybody else down, and doesn't have to be mean, it doesn't have to be anything like that, because it's really all about healing. And then this card here is forgiveness. Wow. So this tells me that on your path to be in your own leadership, so everybody blazes their own trail on their path. Everyone has their own unique life path. There is no set route for everybody. It's just whatever your soul task is. It's always going to be something to do with finding your false. It's always going to be to do with finding all of those false beliefs and turning them around. But how you get there, in which you do first, like in what order, it's a step-by-step process. And yes, one thing definitely leads to another. I remember hearing that song all the time in my head when I was first on my path. And it's so true. So if you're going in the wrong direction, sometimes you just have to stop and, draw a line and say, no, let's go back the other way because I'm headed in that wrong direction. And it really is, one thing leads to another. If you go down this could be a rabbit hole. You want to draw a boundary around those rabbit holes that you can get stuck in or go into. And, so any negative self-talk, any maligning others and then colluding, with maybe somebody comes to you and they're maligning someone else, and then you get on that bandwagon with them, and then you realize, oh, you're colluding. And it's a place where you have to draw a boundary around that type of negative pleasure and be in your truth, which will bring you to that place where you can be in that, back to, Venus and Pluto, into that intense experience, but intensely balanced, if that even makes sense, where you can be in your positive pleasure. Because we are all hardwired for positive pleasure. That's who we are. We come from this 100% wisdom and love of positive pleasure. So we're all here on earth to heal. We're here on earth to heal and surrender to that positive pleasure. And notice when we're not in it, that's a place to hold a boundary or stop and say, no, I'm not going there anymore. I'm not going there anymore because it makes me not feel good. And if you're not feeling good, you're going in the wrong direction. Or sometimes a good test for me has been to notice I suddenly feel a major loss of power. Like, whoa, where'd my energy just go? What the heck, Maybe I was rushing around. Maybe I was pushing myself. Maybe I was thinking about doing something and deciding whether or not is this the thing to do, and then suddenly I feel drained, and it's like, oh, okay, well, that's not the thing for me. And so you can test yourself that way. Your body will always help you, and you will get to the truth. So that big part of forgiving, look how it's like we set ourselves free when we forgive, right? And that's a part of life. So those, anytime we've had those negative experiences that we have to cleanse and let go of, just remember you're letting go of something that's not really you. It was just a little part of life experience that you had to go through so that you could get in touch with the false belief and then draw a boundary around it. Turn it around. Whatever that false belief was. I've told you guys a million times, or I don't know, maybe a dozen times. My false belief when I came in, my soul split said, I don't matter. And I had to turn that around. And one of the easiest ways to turn it around was to finally get to that simple truth of, wait, hold on. I'm here on earth in a body that is comprised of matter, so I absolutely must matter, right? But because of past life wounding and my childhood that I reincarnated to, have that same experience, it's like after a while, it gets to be funny because it is just so opposite of the actual truth. But you have to go through forgiving all these people that hurt you and made you feel like you didn't matter, or like you were not good enough, or wouldn't let you be your true self, wouldn't let you be your authentic self, right? And they acted like they were the only ones that had the keys to any wisdom or truth. And so you heal. Part of this huge healing path is to forgive. And when you do, you set yourself free. It's something you do for yourself. It absolutely is something you do for yourself. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. I don't know that this has anything to do with any world events we're going to be seeing this next week. This is just for us personally. I did a separate video for the USA, events for the week. So, yeah, so that's it. Okay, you guys, sending you lots of love, big, big hugs, and hoping you have the most wonderful holiday season. Okay, take good care. Bye.